An average workday for me is I come in every day and I have to start up the welder, I have to start up the robot itself, start the fume extractor, do test runs of everything. It depends on what I'm doing that day. If it's just running pieces, I'll set up the piece, I'll do a practice run, I'll make sure all the points are correct so we don't ruin a piece, and then I'd go through that during the day. If it's a programming day, we'll get spare pieces and we'll start setting up the parameters of the weld, the heat, the angle, the speed and everything. And then we'd go through that. I'd get the basic points plotted and then we'd start a practice piece. After that, I have to go through, see the errors, where there was spatter, where there was undercut, where there might have been porosity, we might have been too hot, we might have been too slow. And I have to go through all of that and figure out what was the problem, where did the problem happen, why did it happen, and kind of just use what I've learned to figure that out until it comes out perfect every time. The education and training I needed to get into this field, I took 3 years of welding at school, and that really helped. I was a welding fabricator before this, so I had a lot of experience in welding, but I got sent to Ohio to take a class for the robotic welder, and they went through all the programming tricks and how to do that, all the basic stuff, and then we had somebody come out for a week and work with me one-on-one, and I figured out everything from there, and I've just been working a little bit at a time. I read whatever books I can, I get a hold of them, they send me new emails, new training videos, I go through that. So a background in welding fabrication really helped me. I think that not as many people are going to trade schools and community colleges. I think they're going for a lot of bigger degrees, and I think they're really underestimating the potential in the manufacturing field. I went to community college. I went there I got my associates after 2 years, and then I went for another 2 years grabbing any manufacturing class I could get my hands on. I feel it's really helped me. I'd say there are a lot of jobs in the manufacturing field. They say that the average age of a manufacturing worker is in their 50s, so they're losing a lot of workers and they have a lot of space opening up. The income range for a robotic welding programmer, the starting pay is between 21 and 24 an hour. It's usually hourly, and as you get higher up, as you have more experience, welding programmers and welding engineers, I've seen the scale anywhere between $60,000 a year to $120,000 a year. One of my favorite things about working in the manufacturing field is at the end of the day I can look and say, I built that. I can actually look at my work. I learned to do things with my hands. I like the work that I do because I think a lot of the things we do make a difference. We make automation equipment for post office, we make bus parts, we make frames for MRI machines, and I think that really makes a difference. We're making equipment that really helps society, and medical equipment. We make IV poles. We make x-ray carts, and some of the stuff we make is used to save lives, and it's really cool to look at that and know that you made a difference. I would say that any student that wants to get involved in this line of work, a big thing is practice. When I first started here, I was just a welder, I was a welding fabricator, and we did stud welding. And I eventually I started doing the stud welding for the company. And I wasn't too good at it at first. I didn't have as much experience with stud welding. What I started doing is I practiced it as much as I could. I took the book home, I read the 100-page book on it, and I just kept improving and improving, watching videos at home. And it got to the point where now I train people to do the stud welding here. We had a customer came in who was really picky on the quality of welds, to the point where they even came in with a ruler and measured each weld, because if it said it had to be an inch, they wanted it to be an inch. And because I read that book, I practiced. When they saw my stud welds, they actually took pictures of my stud welds to show their employees what stud welds are supposed to look like. I really enjoy what I do. I have fun every day. It's great to be able to look at what you did and say, I did that, I made that with my own hands.